Good day. This is Howard Martell, known as the Home Profit Coach here in Hampton Roads, Virginia, with our final broadcast about what's going on in the news. That's right. What's going on in the news? We are going to discuss a few items that I think are very, very important as I go into what is going on with the trends. The Trends Journal, one of my sources that I utilize from Mr. Gerald Celente. Uh, he's definitely spot on with a lot of his information. So let me get to it as we go forth. I have to just say that what a year it's been. It's been a heck of a year for trends in the news, for the political divide, and everything else that's going on. But understand that there's always going to be ripples in that pond, right? That pond of life. And you need to just take that in perspective and understand that what's going on is going to happen no matter what. Man is so flawed and so, uh, you know, prideful when it comes to the information that they want to do or the control they want to have over their fellow human being. And um, God, on the other hand, wants you to have that freedom to be the light in the world in this darkness that we have. So as I go forth and pull my information up, just bear with me as I'm going through it right now. I've got a lot of information to put out. It's going to be short, but it's not. I'm not going to make this long. I want to make sure that you understand. Some of the things that are going to come on that are going to be coming into 2026. We have uh, one of the things that coming in is, of course, have the long weekend coming up. We have New Year's coming up here. So we'll be entering 2026 and at midnight tonight. So if you have a lot to be thankful for in this world, understand that there is definitely a lot when it comes to understanding uh, how trending goes, right? And that's where Gerald comes in. Gerald breaks down things. He pays for these resources, and I get this news almost every week. Now, I didn't get a new Trends Journal, but I'm going to tell you, it's one of the best information sources that I can have for me and my family because he covers everything. I mean, everything, every nook and cranny. That's why he's one of the best trending people in the world. He knows what he's talking about. He knows about working for the political machine because he used to do that in the early 1980s and so much more. So as we go into these turbulent times we live in, there's talks of wars and rumors of this and rumors of that. You need to do what I do with my inductive Bible study. You need to break it down into segments. You need to look at your references, and then you need to do a comparison. What is what is media saying? What is what are the trends saying? And then you do a comparison. Do I always agree with what Gerald has to say? No. But guess what? That's deductive reasoning, right? So here's a clear high level year cultivation. I'm going to use some talking points, articles, live stream articles, pulling together themes for those trend journal links and why they matter for 2026 and beyond. I'll group everything into 5 big trend clusters, and they give you a short summary that we can reuse. Again, rage nation and social fraction. Has America become a rage nation? Here's the key idea. Anger isn't just a mood, it's becoming an operating system of politics, media, and daily life. People, they want to divide us. We need to be stronger together as a collective unit. We need to have a sound mind, body, and spirit. That means that you need to turn off the mainstream media. You need to follow more independent media, and then you do a comparison. What's the mainstream media saying, but what's independent media saying? That's what I do. What's driving it? Economic stress, rising costs, stagnation, job insecurity, political polarization, both sides convince the others an existential enemy. See, when the old regimes, the Democrats and the Rhinocrats, because it's like a uniparty, basically. You need to understand that you're an American and you have to do what's best for your family. But you also have to understand that Washington's so out of touch of what's going on in this world. Plain and simple. Like I said before, you know who I am. I've served the puppet master. I've done my time in the military. I understand how these games work at a lower level, but at a higher intellectual level, I understand how everything affects me and my family. And I have to think strategically ahead, plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. And that's where, as we get further into this, we'll talk about things like hard assets, assets versus liabilities. I talk about this. Algorithms driven outrage. Social media platforms reward the loudest and angriest voices. See, they want to have independent journalists having this noise, this chaos, right? That's the world. Cultural fragmentation, fewer shares, values, more identity-based conflict. Why it matters in 2026. Expect more protest, unrest, us versus them narratives. We need to stick with our core values, whatever they are. And then you're not going to convince somebody who has a view about something. Don't waste your time on that. Understand that the evidence is there. They can go do their own research if they want to, but you have to do deductive reasoning. You take your references and you do a comparison, just like I learned in college when I was going through my college journey. Pressure to pick on a side on everything. I don't pick sides on everything. I don't agree with everything that this administration does, but I see why it's doing what it's doing because I'm aware. I'm very keenly aware. People have said that, man, you're aware of what's going on. Yeah, you got to be aware. You have to prepare for the unexpected the best you can. Impacted everyday people. I see the struggle people are having right now. I try to be that beacon in this light in the world in this dark time that we live in. Some people will get it, some people won't. I have to move on next, just like in business. Some people want a home-based business and want the tools to be able to be successful. Some don't. And guess what? I don't have time to babysit people. They're, I'm only on earth infinitely for a short period of time. And I want to be there where I want to be somebody that helps motivate, provides them good information that can help them and their family prosper in this stressful economy and keep the narratives down. So because family is very important, your blood that you're born into is very, very important. So if you have beefs with somebody, just cut it off. Either cut it off or try to come to a common understanding that we're going to agree to disagree. When it comes to this topic, we're not going to talk about this topic in this family because guess what? It's nonsense. The devil wants to divide you. Chaos is his way. Develop difficult business environment if you're not careful with messaging. Takeaway. You'll need emotional intelligence, discernment, and community more than ever. Not just information. People and brands who can de-escalate, offer sanity, and create pockets of peace and solutions will stand out. The surveillance state 2.0. The surveillance state is making a naughty list, and you're on it. Key idea. The infrastructure for total monitoring is no longer coming. It's here and expanding. Trends. Financial monitoring, blank bank flags, cash transaction tracking, the talk of central digital currency, CBDC, Fed now, progmality, it's here. Digital behavior scoring, social credit score style ideas, even if it's not called that, deplatforming, demonetization, and reputation scoring by private platforms. By private platforms, how are they not going to have their human bias in there? That's what I want to know. You can't. It's the same thing with this IA, this artificial intelligence and chat CPT 4 and 5 and all this. You need to understand that it will have its own biases, but then it's based on the program of man and the information it absorbs. Now, when the artificial intelligence becomes smarter than you, then you got a problem. Terminator. Just saying. Hollywood kind of predicts things and they kind of throw things out there in the future. I'm not saying we're going to be coming or anytime soon get terminated, but like I'm saying, we are living in the information age where your information is being exposed at massive levels. Tech integration, AI scanning posts, email, videos, biometrics, IDs, facial recognition, and geolocation. Everything you have has geolocation on it. Now you can turn it off. You need to. You just have to either Google it or you have to look at the manual or you can ask AI, how do I turn off my geo targeting on my phone or on my Fitbit or whatever you have and stuff, or my Apple Watch? See, I don't allow Alexa in my house. Why? Because really, do I really need a tool like that to tell me what the weather's going to be like when I can just look it up myself? I don't need to become lazy and I'm just saying, I don't need Alexa. It doesn't help me. But what helps me is knowledge, reading, history, how money works, how budgeting works, different things that they don't teach you anymore because they dumbed you down. We'll talk about that too. Why it matters in 2026. Less invisible, more people will feel the consequences, account freezes, content takedowns, payment issues, business risk. Entire income streams can be cut by policy or algorithm change. Personal risk, speech and behavior increasingly linked to access, service, banking, travel, takeaway. This era would reward decentralization, multiple income streams, platform asset types, privacy, literacy, what you share, what you sign, what you store, value clarity, knowing what you will and you won't compromise even when pressure arises. AI layoffs in the boom bust setup. Layoffs mounts, AI steals more jobs, and economy going to crash after AI going bust. Here's the key ideas. AI is not a fad. The way it's being hyped and capitalized likely is that creates a dangerous boom bust pattern. What's happening? Rapid job automation, white collar, copywriting, design, support coding, blue collar, warehouses, logistics, retail. Corporate behavior, layoffs justified as AI efficiency, short term profit chasing, long term social costing ignored, investment bubble, massive capital chasing anything labeled AI, weak business models hidden behind buzzwords. Why a bust is likely? The overvaluation built on hype, not sustainable cash flows, backlash from workers, regulators, customers who don't like low quality automation, historical patterns. Railroads.com, housing, they all had tech revolutions and bubbles. Why it matters in 2026 and beyond. Period of job losses and retraining pressure, possible AI crash in markets and overbuilt companies, and social anger at the system for replacing humans. We have that right now. When you have individuals that go into workplaces that they got fired and they come in with a weapon, they're on their last string. There's something wrong with them too, but something made them break into that psychotic mode that allows them to want to hurt their fellow human beings, people they worked with. See, you got to look at it. You have to look at it as how society can break down because of the tools. Now, the tools do help you. I use it in my business and I use it in my uh, creating my lesson plan for you. I'll be honest with you. You think I know all this information? I just know where to find the information, and then I accumulate it into a simple uh, tool that allows me to segregate it into portions and allows me to be able to give you great content without uh, too advanced terms, right? So, if you're a worker, assume no job is 100% safe. Learn to use AI as a tool, not compete with it as a victim. I use it as a tool. At work, I use it as a tool. Okay. We have it as a tool. It's an authorized tool, but it's authorized and accredited through the Department of Defense, through the Pentagon. Now they're building out different versions of it. And as it comes out, that's going to be incredible. It allows me to synergize ideas. There's only certain things I can do with it, but it allows me to speed up the process and analytically look at things differently on a risk level as a senior risk analyst. If you're in business, automate wisely, but keep human quality and trust at center. You got to have that human trust. I use it to automate my content creation for my for not only my blogs but for my articles, for any content that I have. I have a unique idea. I come up with it and it scrapes it and it provides information. Now, if I have a website on it and data, it's going to scrape that and provide it and really simplify it into really bulleted forms. As a planner, expect volatility, booms in some sectors, sharp corrections, and overhyped ones. Four, the War Department, not the Defense Department. Candidate Trump changed the Defense Department to Department of War, what it used to be. The global system is shifting from peace through trade story to an open multi-front conflict mentality. Trends, escalating rhetoric and budgets, defense spending rising globally, normalization of proxy wars, regime change, and great power rivalry, domestic impact, war language justifies, surveillance, crackdown, emergency powers. War is not good. Now, war will help the printing presses and us keep the dollar rolling, but also that means more debt, more death, more cost to those brothers and sisters, your family members who that are in the military. They realize that they can be in danger and stuff, and they raise their hand because they want to serve their country. And there's benefits that you get out that has I can't complain. Yes, my body's beat up, but at the end of the day, I would not change what the military made me become as not only a very well educated citizen, but a well prepared citizen to understand how I can help people and serve them just like I did in the military, but I served them in a business and financial stewardship. And also, part of my ministry, my godly ministry, is to mix in technology with business and understand what's going on in the news, the trends. Without being a news reporter, I'm just a regular average person or above average person that's aware of what's going on and how it affects not only my family, but future generations. You have to think of all this printing going on and the quantitative easing when they're printing it, when the Fed, which is not an authorized organization in the government, it isn't, um, uh, has so much power towards interest rates and all that. They're trying to keep the system afloat. That's why you have these economic impacts, guns over butter, money to war instead of infrastructure, health, and education. We need to be able to have a 21st century education system. That's not the old education system that keeps on failing the kids. When you have college students coming out of college and they're not even making a solid income because they can't move their way up the corporate ladder and they have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt going to these prestigious universities. See, it's not what you know, it's who you know, to be honest with you. It's the good old boy network. Hey, brother Joe, I understand you got a position available for my boy Joey. Yes, I do. Just have him come by, put the resume in there, he's in there. Boom. See, it's who you know, and unless you're in that inner circle, that inner ecosystem, you'll be left behind. Why? Because you're gonna have debt, and taxes, unless you know how to use the tax system by investing in assets, real estate, hard assets, silver, gold, credible resource there that is showing the true value of what's going on economically with the dollar. I tell people, hey, if you want to make a major purchase, that's on you. But understand there's consequences once you do that. Why? Because interest rates are high. For a new car, now you're talking $700, $800 or more for a brand new car. Why would I invest that much money in a new car when I can keep my old one and continue to maintain the maintenance? It's not called about keeping up with the Joneses. Even the middle class is struggling right now. I'm talking about six-figure earners struggling when it wasn't that way. And it's been going on for a while. So anything that your president can say, yes, they're trying to keep from people from not panicking people. I'm just telling you this out of love and understanding of what's going on economically. Yes, there's certain states that are growing and the mindset is like, yeah, there's jobs available, but are these jobs a really high paid technical job, or is it your service jobs where you're serving somebody else and they're paying you a minimum wage? See, the business's job is to be profitable, not to keep up with the economy like most people think. It's not there to fund all your stuff. You have to be a steward of what has been provided to you by God at the end of the day. You got to know what a budget is. You know, got to know how much money's coming in, how much money's going out. What are you spending it on? Are you constantly going out to eat? Are you constantly buying your own coffee instead of brewing it? These are different ways that you can. There's so many resources out there that can show you how to save money. How many subscriptions do you need to watch TV? Because half the shows on TV are garbage. You know, they don't teach you crap. I mean, unless you're an entrepreneur and stuff like that, you're looking at certain things, Shark Tank, some of these other shows that are they have deductive reasoning and they show you what they do to be able to flip houses or whatever. Now that's something that you got to take some risk on, right? But Robert Kiyosaki does this at Rich Dad Poor Dad. He shows you how his rich dad did business and how his poor dad ended up poor and broken down because he tried to challenge the system. He tried to go up against the machine and how it devastated. But you see how Robert was following his rich dad friend's policies and then went in the Marine Corps, discovered gold one day, then silver, got to go to some real estate courses, and owns tens of thousands of apartment complex or duplexes that pays him every month, and he's using other people's money, and then he's using their rent money to pay his stuff off and to make him richer because he's getting benefits from the government. See, that's how smart money works. You need global awareness where your source, where your bank, who you depend on. See, with my thing, when I'm investing in hard assets, I'm becoming my own bank. It allows me to sleep good at night knowing that yes, I'm getting paid a salary. I'm getting paid a pension for my time in service, 20 years, 10 days, and I'm getting paid tax-free money from the VA and all the benefits I get. Like I just got eyeglasses that I have. I have dental work being done. I have all these things is because of the benefits that were provided to me and that I have a medical condition that will not approve. Now, you don't have to be completely at the highest level to get some of these benefits, but the benefits outweigh the cons when you do 3 or 4 years, even that. And that's what I tell people. I was like, do the 3 or 4 years in the military, whatever, get you all the training you can, then come out, work as a cyber contractor, for example, or whatever you're doing, logistics, whatever you want to do, or go back to school on the government's dime, or go to school while you're serving. You have those options too. But they're changing the culture of the military that it's not advantageous for a person to do 20 years anymore because what are you getting? You're getting a 401k that's in the market, that's invested in dollars in the stock market, while us old timers have a cost of living adjustment typically every year, just like Social Security does. When they get a COLA, we get a COLA. When the military gets a pay raise, we get a pay raise and stuff to a certain level. And you look at that as okay, this covers my mortgage and then some. This covers other things. And so there's money, there's a balance between it. Pay down your debt, but if you have low debt, but if you have a mortgage, is it worthwhile to pay your house off before you officially hang it up? That's my goal right now. That's the reason, one of the reasons I'm working. Plus, I enjoy what I do. It's important to have something that gives you drive. It gives you the ability to be able to provide for your family on top of what you earn because of my service to the country. And I will not take that back. A grounded moral compass, what you support or what you reject. Good is true, true is good, or evil, good is evil, good is. See, the media is there to make sure that you are always in the chaos of the world. People who don't let chaos get to them are people who are driven, who understand truly what's going on, and they know they can't stop it, but they can be part of a solution to help educate others on what it takes to be successful in the storm, to be the rock. Realize war talk and war economics will shape prices, politics, narrative for year to come. Macro convergence, fragile systems, hard asset flight. Underlying theme across all links, the O'Leary style silver argument. Key ideas. All of this convergence is one simple macro reality. Trust in paper promises like fiat, derivatives, official narratives quietly eroding, and that pushes people towards tangible, secure, real things. That's where your hard assets come in. Silver is still a cheap buy. If you can get into it, KEPM.com. KEPM.com. That's who I utilize. It's up 175%, right? In 1 year. 1 year. Let's just say that. I'm very happy. Very, very happy. And Dr. Kurt Elliott, who is the CEO of Dr. Kurt Elliott Precious Metals in Colorado, we are equally yoked. We have the same faith. We have the same belief. We want to help others. We want to create transformational wealth for the next generation. And if I can't take this with me, I want to be a good steward of what God has provided to me because of the fact that I owe that to my Lord and Savior because his blood covers me every day for me being a sinner. So whether you believe or not, I'm, I'm going to speak about my Lord and Savior and how he has blessed me by connecting me with equally yoked people. Converging pressures, currency debasement, chronic deficits, relentless money printing, structural inflation wages. The last couple of weeks, there's been so many ripples across the global economy outside of the war in Ukraine, Israel, and all this other stuff, Venezuela. I'm telling you that the government is trying to keep all the governments are trying to keep their financial systems afloat. Because we are the reserve currency of the world, we have an obligation to all the other countries that trade in dollars. But these countries are now saying, no, United States, because you reneged on your promise to say that you would not weaponize the dollar. uh, we are going to go to different currencies. We are going to continue to buy precious metals, silver and gold, because we realize it's been around for centuries and it's a hedge towards inflation and also manipulation by man. You can't manipulate, you can only manipulate so much silver or gold or precious metals. And now that's what you're seeing. You're seeing the pressure point, the cork just popped, baby. And if you're not in already, also you can get silver from local dealers too. You got to do your homework. You got to understand that, how does it work when you go to a precious metal deal and you want to buy some mint coins that they have and stuff. What kind of price are you expecting to get and stuff? Because it's a different value between what they call spot price, what the market determines, and what the hard value, what they want to get out of it to be able to sell that and have a profit from it, right? So they can replenish that. This is getting scarcer and scarcer because the people in the know for decades have been stacking, 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 right? The Mike Maloney's of this world, the Richard Duncans of this world, the Jim Rickards of this world. I follow these people. And Gerald talks about this in his Trends Journal. I get it. Like I said, I get it every week. It costs me a few dollars a week to have this, and I get more information than the newspaper could ever give me, because I'm getting resources from overseas that he pays for. I'm getting resources from the United States that he trusts and stuff. And he does a comparison. He's like, no, this is why they're doing what they're doing. He shows you that he shows you the goods. Structural inflation waves. You see how inflation is going right now. Gas is going down, but then everything else is going up. Your insurance is going up. The cost of housing is going up. Rent is going up. Certain foods are going up. This was all part of a master plan to really destabilize the economic system across the world. Because we are the reserve currency and we've been living high on the hog for a while. They're calling us out on it. And these other countries want to be prosperous too. They're sorry. They're when there was over, I want to say like 10 or 12 trillion tons of precious metals was discovered in Saudi Arabia in the desert recently. You know what they're going to shift to? They're going to shift from producing petrodollars, which is oil, to having a resource that they can negotiate with countries for these resources that need it, with this EV, solar, and in the military, the military, weapon systems and bullets and everything else, that missiles that utilize silver in it. Now, once silver's used, it returns to the ground and never comes back. See, that's why it's considered precious. Gold, on the other hand, it's a hard asset, and typically it's going to be worth more than silver because it's not industrialized. It's not as volatile, right? But silver is the way to go right now because it's creating transformational wealth. When your monies are tripling 175%, I started buying when I was 20. Now I'm going to make a disclaimer. I don't have any silver on me. So guess what? If you decide that you want to do some nefarious act or try to rob me, guess what? What you're going to get is what I have. You're not going to get anything from me. Plain and simple. So for all those crazies out there, that's what I'm saying. Trust me. I'm prepared for those people too. So don't test it. Financial fragility, bank scares, shadow banking, over leveraged bets. That's where the Juan Kerry deal came in. And look it up. I did an article on it. I did a study on it recently. I talked about explaining with Juan Kerry. And Juan Kerry was that Japan was loaning Juan, their currency, versus whatever currency, whether it's the dollar, at a 0% interest rate. We've been funding our governments and our policies for a while using that, but Japan said, nope. They hired it up to 0.75 and it's going to get higher. So it's going to cost more to borrow and you can't use it anymore. That's another thing that's accelerating this growth in silver, especially. Okay. It's outperformed the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and so much more in the stock market because you have so much chaos in the world. It's tight, it's illiquid. Markets and key commodities like silver, social rage and political instability, push for final repression and wealth grabs. See, what I'm doing is that I'm making sure that they're not going to grab my wealth. They've already took enough of my taxes and all the fraud that's going on across countries and across in the United States. It's disgusting. But see, God's revealing truth right now, people. So you better get right with him before it's too late because his justice is coming. His justice is coming, and that I'd rather be on the righteous side with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And when I take my last breath, I know wholeheartedly that when I answer to him for everything that I've done here on earth, anything I've done, that he'll say, good and faithful servant, enter the kingdom and be in my glory forever and ever. And that's going to be glorious. But while I'm here on earth, I want to be a beacon and be a light. I want to be that strong light that's coming into 2026, where we all have these lights and they're flickering stronger and stronger because we are not afraid of people who are going to badmouth us or whatever they're going to say. Oh, that's a relic. No, it's not, people. It's been around for centuries. It's mentioned in the Bible 600, 700 times. Look it up. You can Google it. See, that's the thing. When I was growing up, we had Encyclopedia Britannica. We didn't have the internet. Now you have the internet. You have everything. You can do deductive reasoning. Everything. Why in 2026 is different? This isn't one crisis. It's layered. Tech upheaval, AI. It's affecting even in cybersecurity. It's affecting jobs and stuff. The Navy is doing away with certain positions. They're not replacing them. Now they're doing the same thing in my contractor realm. I'm known as a Navy qualified validator. They're taking that and they're going to transition. There's what they call sunsetting. We'll still be independent. We're going to be called something in thing, and this has happened all the time. So will I have a job still? Most likely, yeah, I will. I'll have a different title. I'll be doing the same thing I've been doing for the last 10 years. Same thing. And when I'm done doing it, I call it quits. And then I will enjoy the rest of my life. I will continue to do business. I will continue to do these broadcasts until I can't do these anymore. But guess what? This person is driven. He is excited about the opportunities in 2026, but he's also being very cautious about what he's investing in. He's investing in kingdom culture, which means he's investing in things of value, value to not only man, not the worldly man, the godly man, the kingdom culture, things like that. Monetary stress, debt debasement, bubbles. Each layer amplifies the other. Takeaways. People will increasingly look for real skills, real communities, real assets, metals, land, infrastructure, productive businesses. Survival skills. The window to reposition quietly before crowds panic is always closing faster than people want to believe. Short summary. As we move into 2026 and beyond, we're not dealing with one big issue. We're watching a stack of trends collide. We've got rage nation fueled by economic stress, weaponized algorithms, and a growing surveillance state quietly logging everything we do. An AI boom that's laying off workers and inflating other tech bubbles that could bust hard. We're seeing the language shift from defense to war as nations arm up and justify more controls in the name of security. Underneath it all, in a fragile financial system, too much debt, too much money printing, too many paper promises. That's why smart early movers are thinking less independence on centralized systems, more real skills, real relationships, and real assets. 2026 and beyond will reward people who see the anger but don't become it, see the surveillance but learn to live wisely in it, and use AI as a tool but don't bet their soul or future on the hype, and quietly build resilient lives and businesses that can stand if the big system stumbles. That's what's going on to be talked about and preparing for. So I hope you enjoyed this. The Trends Journal is a great resource for you out there. It is, you can go to trendsjournal.com for more information. and thank you. Stay blessed, stay safe, and understand 2026 is going to be rocky. And don't lean. Please do not bow down to political parties and all this nonsense. Understand that the president has a hard job to do. He has to work with so many egos, prides, and everything. And we just have to pray over our leaders consistently and understand that God's hands on each and every one of our leaders because He has ordained who He wanted to place into His presence to use for His mission, not man's mission, but God's mission. He's real, He's a living word, and He wants a relationship with you. God bless. Stay safe. Enjoy your New Year's. If you celebrate it, understand Jesus has been the reason that you continue to thrive in the marketplace. Take care. God bless.